Hello and welcome to another stream with me, Christian Rauchenwald. Today on this beautiful, I think we have Tuesday. As mentioned, this is going to be now a weekly event. We're going to call this series Let's Talk About. So in the Tuesday streams, we're going to pick a topic, like today is going to be Pi Network. I'm going to do my best to answer any questions that you might have. Now, like with any other stream, there's obviously always something that's not ready, not prepared, or not working. In today's stream, fortunate or unfortunately, my stream deck decided to stop working and it doesn't show the shortcuts that are configured. I had no time to figure out why, so yeah, if we switch between scenes and stuff like that, I'll have to do that manually, which means the stream might not be as smooth as I would want them to be. Now, before we get started, first a huge shout out to Mr. Flo. You should know his channel. I did an interview with him, or he interviewed me recently about Pi Network and being a YouTube creator and so on. Yeah, shout out to him for providing me with the tutorial on how to do things like that, so that we can pick one chat message and basically highlight it in the stream itself. So you'll always know which question I'm currently answering. Now I'm quickly gonna go through the regular process of greeting everyone, and we're gonna look for our first questions along the way as well. Yeah, hi Notorious Mike, hi Kennedy Jumbo, hi Fiona Savage Pickle, hi Al Mustafa Hassan, hi Alex Darcy, Malika Amara Puram, that's gonna be a name I'm struggling with, but yeah, doing my best. Hi, even though you're always just hating on the project, thank Mima forever. Hi, Chef Sweet Jones, and hi, yeah, like cannot pronounce those characters, cannot even read it. Welcome Xbogur, yeah, welcome Sai to have you here. He's one of our regulars from our Discord community, which by the way, you can find a link to probably somewhere in any of my video descriptions. So if you want to be part of the community as well. Hi, Esemovich Janksi, something like that. Yeah, hi, Crypto Buyer, that one's easy. Hi, Irina Rauchenwald. Yeah, hi, sweetie. So Irina is my wife, in case you don't know her yet. Hi, Chimpometo. Hi, Sangliana Function. And that's, I think, everyone. If I missed someone, I'm, yeah, sorry. Now, let's check real quick what we have in questions. So let's go. Want to know what's the best app to invest in? That's the wrong life for that, Kennedy, because we're going to focus on Pi Network here. Maybe in the end, I will have a little bit of time to cover some other things. Let's start with this one. Malika Amara Puram asks how to do KYC. It's actually quite straightforward. You just have to either wait and daily check your Pi Network app where you push the lightning button for mining, and one day you'll see the pop-up that you're got an KYC slot, or B, what you can do additionally, just every day, every second day, open the Pi browser app and there go on KYC, and it will often tell you that there are no slots available right now, but at some point you will get lucky. Considering that by now roughly half of the users already at least applied for KYC, probably also passed it, and that right now up to 100,000 people per day can get KYC verified, it shouldn't take too long for everyone else to get their chance. However, it's important to point out that for a few countries, Pi Network still has to work out the details for the algorithmic-based verification, so where a computer algorithm reads the picture of your ID and basically already pre-qualifies or pre-verifies you. So for some countries, there might still be a little bit of a longer wait time, but it's also the biggest priority of the core team at the moment, so expect that it doesn't take that long anymore. On the other hand, also consider that, yeah, like if you've been using Pi Network from the start for the last couple of years, it honestly shouldn't make a huge difference if you have to wait another couple of weeks. I know the feeling of missing out, so you see other people already have their available balance, and you might already have seen posts about people using their Pi in some transactions, so I can relate to the missing out part, but in the end, it doesn't make a huge difference, yeah. Also asking, same person, different question. I'm 17 years old, but can't do KYC. Please help. Considering all the projects that I'm dealing with, I'm right now not 100% certain, but if I recall it correctly, the minimum age for Pi Network would be 13 years. but you obviously need a government issued ID for that, so that might be challenging. In that case, you might just wait. There will be some point where the Pi core team will announce in quotes a deadline. So where then if you, from the deadline in quotes or from the announcement, you might have 6 months. And if you don't pass KYC by then everything that you earned that's older than 6 months or so might be forfeited or so. But basically here, patience and make sure that you have a government issued ID, and that should do the trick. Alex Dowsey asks, when will my KYC get approved? Yeah, nobody can tell you that. For some people, it just takes a couple of minutes. For other people, it takes a couple of weeks. In the end, again, just be patient. Eventually, you'll get a notification and you'll see you either passed the KYC verification or you see why you didn't pass it and you cannot try it again. Now, moving on. Chef Sweet Jones asks how to cash out my Pi. Yeah, I recommend that you read the white paper. Could answer that question in more detail, but I've covered it in so many videos and it's such an obvious answer. If you're involved in a project like Pi Network, you want to benefit, you want to get crypto, you want to get a financial gain, then the least you can do is put in a little effort and actually read a little bit about the project. Yeah, like, it's like, it seems like you expect other people to do the work for you. Like maybe somebody told you Pi is the new future, whatever, Bitcoin and stuff like that, and now you think you're rich and so on. But do your own research, like do a little bit of research at least, because that's a question that you can answer yourself in so many different ways. Yeah. Alex Dowsey also asks, when will be mass KYC? Well, technically we are already at the point of mass KYC. So in many countries it's already mass KYC with a total, so not per country, but total, I think the highest day was 100,000 verifications in one day. So we're already moving quite fast. But as said, the bigger issue is that in a few countries, the core team still has to figure out what kind of IDs are accepted probably, and then adjust their algorithm to basically handle them properly. Now, more questions about KYC. Hi, hello, blah, blah, blah. We already had that. When will product by sale start? I guess you mean when you will be able to spend your Pi to buy products. Well, technically, the moment you have available balance in your Pi wallet is the moment when you can start to use your Pi coins. And obviously, since right now, during the enclosed mainnet, you are not allowed to sell your Pi coins for fiat or for other cryptocurrencies. So you're only allowed to use them, for example, if I were to sell my used Stream Deck, which unfortunately appears to be broken, and we agree on a price. So I would say, I don't know, 0.1 Pi, 1 Pi, 10 Pi, 0.0001 Pi, whatever the price is we agree on. Then you can already, if you have available balance, technically use that and basically spend it. So hi Kisa Ahmad, hi Lena Sovec, yep, blah, blah, blah. Another interesting question, when will the enclosed mainnet end and when is the open mainnet launch? I mean, the question is the same. So with the open mainnet will launch when the enclosed mainnet ends. And the enclosed mainnet will end once we have like a bunch of use cases and a bunch of probably daily transaction volume within the enclosed mainnet. The idea behind the enclosed mainnet is actually quite nice, because you notice here in the stream we had 1 or 2 messages so far that asked for sorry, I'm gonna pin a message real quick. And so here in this stream, we had 1 or 2 messages so far that asked how to sell their Pi. And obviously, if there would be an open mainnet right now, there would be a certain amount of people that would just try to dump their coins and it would ruin the value initially. But by having the enclosed mainnet, we are basically at a point where it's up to us and developers to come up with use cases for Pi. We have one member in our community on Discord, Atzwan, and he and some other people are, for example, developing a webinar solution that accepts Pi. So where, for example, I could create a course about cryptocurrencies and upload it on their webinar solution. And then I could say if people want to watch it, they would have to pay, I don't know, 0.1, 1, 10, 0.001, and so on, Pi to watch it, which already is one very narrow use case, because obviously it requires some course or content creator and people that want to consume the content. But you also have already other developers that are working, but it takes time. Building any kind of platform that allows you to perform transactions simply is not as easy as you might think. Like if you look at Amazon, where you can add something to a basket, which for you is just a mouse click, but actually are like thousands of hours of developers' work to make the whole thing work properly. And yeah, so we will be in the enclosed mainnet for quite some time. Pardon Miambo, thanks for subscribing. And yeah, so basically it's again about patience, but it's also about using the apps that will be available soonish to basically help prove that Pi has a use case or multiple use cases. And yeah, another point for the end of the enclosed mainnet is obviously the KYC verifications. If we assume, or like it has been stated, that right now we have roughly half of accounts verified, yeah, we cannot go to the open mainnet with just half of the user base verified, so it definitely takes a little bit more. And yeah, so those are the two things. Like the majority of users should have been KYC verified and have access to their Pi coins, but the bigger point is we should have already an ongoing economy with different apps. Now that could be, theoretically, it could be an app like a marketplace, so where actual vendors sell new items in exchange for Pi. It could be an app that is similar to eBay, where you can say, I want to sell my used Stream Deck again, for example, or something else, and either with auctioning it off, or you just say, I want this price, like similar to Facebook Marketplace, for example, where you can list items. So yeah, we'll just have to wait to see how the developers are doing, how the apps are coming along, and so on. And then obviously, yeah, keep using or start using Pi actually in transactions, but not only spending it. The important part is also accepting Pi, you know, because if everyone would just want to spend their Pi, then it would be the same thing if we would already be on the open mainnet and everybody just would try to sell, but nobody wants to buy it, which means nobody could sell, which means the value would be zero. Yeah, so it's right now a very delicate phase, actually, the enclosed mainnet, and it should take however long it takes, because it's really an important phase. Once we get through the enclosed mainnet and to the open mainnet, if we then already have a big enough community that's actively not just trying to spend their coins, but also is willing to accept them, then Pi on the open market has a way better shot. Yeah, yeah. And moving on, hi DOD, hi White Mask, hi Adil Mirza, hi. Yeah, interesting question. When will Hi skyrocket? Well, for that we would need to reach the open mainnet, so again, will take some time. Hi Shams, hi Network Bits, hi Haruna Adamu. Yeah, as you saw, I stickied the message that Irina shared with the link to our Discord community. So if you want to join there, what update shall we expect this month? Since we're talking about Pi Network, hard to say. Yeah, like, I mean, the core team hasn't been very transparent. I mean, they always shared what are the next steps, but not very transparent in terms of like timelines. And very often, even when they announced something should happen, until then, it actually took them longer. Yeah, so it's, yeah, hard to say what we should expect in the end. I think currently the focus of the core team is still very much on the KYC verification. So for everyone that already passed KYC, there is not much to expect. For people that are in countries that don't have mass KYC yet available, they can potentially expect that soon they will be able to also get verified. Yeah, but that's what I think we can expect, but not sure if everything happens within a month and so on. Yeah. Yeah, moving on. Hi Nelson, catching up with the chat. Yeah. Crypto and Mining asks when High Dollar will be listed on Binance. Well, that would be a separate stream, because today we focus on Pi Network. If I have a couple of minutes at the end, so those streams are scheduled for 30 minutes. So if I have a couple minutes in the end, I might talk about that as well, but not sure. Other than that, you can always, if you check the community tab, there is explained how the topics for those Let's Talk About lives are picked, and therefore how you can vote that the next one next week would be, for example, about High Dollar. Now, Alex Dowsey, I already answered the mass KYC question, so maybe just overlap with me answering it. Yeah, and That's also answered the KYC part. You can just reverse in the video to earlier, and there was already a question related to KYC where I explained all of that. And Kofi Francis Asiale, hi, yeah, welcome here. Is USA one of those countries? It's hard for me to answer, to be honest, because the Pi Network core team doesn't share that information, but I would say no. So because USA is obviously a bigger country with 300 million people living there and with like quite well-known IDs. So in terms of how a US passport looks, which data is on it, and the other forms of IDs that you have. So I would actually assume that for the US, there is already mass KYC adoption, but an easy answer to get, or you could get that answer easily if you ask in the Pi Network chat, for example, if any of the US pioneers passed KYC and had the chance to become a validator himself, because the mass adoption means that once you passed KYC, you can apply to become a validator, which means that you can then also handle the second stage or parts of the KYC verification for people in your country. Yeah. When will Pi Network be listed on any exchange? Already answered when we talk about the open and closed mainnet. Crypto buyer, congrats for verifying 20 Swedish people. I also did a handful of people in Germany already, just don't have that much time. And lately when I checked, there are not that many or any at all that are in the waiting list. So it seems to be going along in the countries where verified users already can become verifiers themselves. So there seems to be a lot of progress with KYC, but as said, in some countries, we're still a little bit away from that step. And yeah. So what do we have next? When Pi Wallet? Yeah, NFC barcode payment function. Those are totally different things. Like NFC would be something where you can just tap next to it. So like a kind of like a chip. Yeah, and barcode payment function. It should be a no-brainer to add in the app, and it shouldn't be too hard, but I'm also not sure if it's right now high on the priority list for the core team to add the barcode, which obviously would be super useful because like manually typing the wallet address from somebody else into your wallet when you send Pi, it's just super annoying. So I would expect it's coming soon, but I'm not sure it will come before the KYC updates come out. And also, just to be clear, I mean, it should be obvious, yeah, based on my videos and so on, I'm not part of the core team, so what I'm sharing with you is the information that I gathered in different communities and obviously from what the core team shared themselves, yeah, so I cannot give you any specific deadlines that haven't been announced by the core team themselves, yeah. Moving on, so this is the question every pioneer rates: Pi price by open mainnet. Your prediction, please, with some explanation. I don't do price predictions. I made a couple of videos that talk about what should be considered and what, in my opinion, many people forget, so that it's not just about the supply. What I can say is I do not think that the value of $314,000 per Pi that some communities or some users are spreading on Twitter and other platforms is even remotely realistic, yeah. But in the end, it comes down to how much you and I value Pi. For example, if I would want to sell this keyboard and I would tell you it's 200 Pi, if you would say, yeah, that's a good deal, then you value Pi relatively low. If you say that's too expensive, you're only offering me 2 Pi, then maybe for me, I would say that that you value it too high. Yeah? Like, I mean, I don't know how much the keyboard is right now, so just a random example, yeah. That's also one of the reasons why the enclosed mainnet is so important, because there will be a lot of transactions where people will disagree about the value. I saw a post, we might see it later in a couple minutes as well, where there is it's not a hotel, but on the Philippines, there are some areas where you can rent, I wouldn't even say villa, like you can rent a place with a pool and a few beds and maybe barbecue area and some other stuff for overnight, so you can go there to party with your friends. And there was one post from one of those offers that they accept for the weekend for one night, so 21 hours from the overnight and so on, for 150 Pi. Now, I personally consider that this is for a place for 8 people, so it's like on the weekend around 18 Pi per person to rent a place for spending a night to party, and I would consider it okay-ish. There are also then some that comment that the price is way too high, that it should be cheaper. So the enclosed mainnet is the important part here, where there will just be transactions. Some of them we will just look at and ask ourselves, why would somebody give away this for just that little pi? Others we will look at and we'll say, why would somebody be so stupid and pay that many pi for just that item? And in the end, over time, we'll find a consensus. We'll find roughly a middle ground. With more platforms and apps where you can list items or buy items from, it will also be that maybe you have, I don't know, like the same keyboard and you want to sell it, and I post mine on local Pi subreddit for, let's say, I don't know, 1 Pi, and then you post yours and you look, you first check the subreddit and you see that I post mine in exchange for 1 Pi, and you then basically decide to post yours for 0.99 Pi, or you think my price is completely ridiculous and you post yours for 100 Pi. And so with more places where we can list items, Mr. Flo, thank you for the donation and for stopping by, and thank you for sharing that neat trick with the chat highlight. Super cool. And yeah, so with more places where we can post services and products and buy services and products with Pi, there will also be more similar items and services posted, and then there will be like the regular price competition. Yeah, so if you can have 2 similar items and one sells it cheaper than the other, so one vendor sells it cheaper, then people will buy from the cheaper offer, but then he might realize that he actually could increase his price and so on, and eventually we'll find something like a middle ground. And then also based on the value of the items, it obviously will also help us to determine, like, so you could look up how much the keyboard is on the Apple website, and if I list it then for 1 Pi, you get an idea for how much I, in that, in this fictitious example of a transaction, how much I would theoretically value it, yeah. And if we then have, I don't know, like, maybe you want to sell something that nobody else is selling, but you see that somebody is selling an Xbox that's worth $300 for 1 Pi, and the item you want to sell is worth $150. So based on that, you would then list it for half a Pi, for example. Yeah. So so it's hard to say where the price will go, but a huge part of it is the enclosed mainnet and also the disagreements along the way. So where people say it's unrealistic, or that's not fair, or that's not a good value, and that guy got scammed. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope that answers that. So when we're talking about the enclosed mainnet now and developers, yes, it's talking about the SDK, so the software development kit, which is basically just a package that makes it easier for developers to integrate something. And there, when we had the first people migrate to the to the enclosed mainnet, so get the available balance, the Pi core team still hasn't had or didn't have or whatever. So back then the SDK for the mainnet wasn't published yet, but that's already out, and now developers that work and create Pi apps obviously have to update to that SDK so that their apps actually can interact with your actual Pi balances and wallets. Has any Nigerian done any KYZ? I don't know. I'm not sure if other Nigerians are in the chat here, but probably easier if you ask in the Pi Network chat, or if you ask on the Pi Network subreddit, and that will give you an idea. But I think to recall that there was an update about the about how Nigerian IDs are handled, so that there should be already KYZ, but I'm not 100% sure. So best either Pi Network chat or the Pi Network subreddit on reddit.com. Yeah. Crypto mining. Yeah. I love all of you too. Yeah. No need for the sir. So we're all friends here. Gopala Krishnan H, welcome. Opted for 50% locked up. Total Pi mine 7.9k, but balance is only 1,000. Expected to be 3,800. That's because you currently only received the Pis that you mined yourself, and any Pi that you got from referrals will only be migrated later. So because it's very complicated to calculate the referral rewards, because it has to check every one of your referrals to check if they are KYZ verified or not. And therefore, because that's a super resource intensive operation in the long run, or considering the 30 million accounts, it will be done later when more users pass KYZ. So when we have, I don't know, like, I'm not sure about the exact number, but let's say when 75% of users pass KYZ or 80%, then the core team will also run the calculations of how many of your rewards are actually verified, and they will then be migrated in a second step. Yeah, many people are waiting for KYZ. You're not alone with that. What do you think about Pi and Web3? I think Web3 is just a buzzword that people throw around. Yeah, there's so many projects that are just throwing around Web3, and the same is with Metaverse and so on. Yeah, it's like, I think Pi is a great project. It's a new cryptocurrency that actually, while it developed slow, did what they promised. And yeah, so it remains up to us and the community to either make it a success or to see it fail. So that's what I think about it. So but Web3 is just something that's just thrown around in so many other projects with no specific, I don't know, thing that I wouldn't say description that you can grasp or so, but every company and project out there. It's the same with when cryptocurrencies became popular. So many companies out there started to talk about the blockchain and so on. There was, it's not super relevant for Pi Network, but to give you an example, there was Hooters. So that restaurant chain with the waitresses with bigger boobies, breasts, whatever, cup size. And they announced that their customer loyalty program will be based on the blockchain, and their stock increased by, 15 or 20% just because of that announcement. I think with Web3, it's the same thing. Javen Austin, thanks for subscribing. And so moving on, Kim Joy shares Pi Chain Mall will open on August 25th. So that's actually not that far away. I have to check the date. So that's basically 9 days, one of the first places where you will be able not the first, but one of the first places where you will be able to use your Pi coins is supposed to open in 9 days already. So that's really cool. So you see, things are moving along. I would expect, since we also have our own small software business and so on, that probably initially there might still be a few bugs, or the selection of what you can do with your Pi there might not be as great as you hope right now. But all of those things are a great step in the right direction, and they are then obviously improving as they go, like every other software out there other than Microsoft Windows. But I'm holding Pi, but it's worthless till now. Well, that's not true, because while it's not here in this live streaming setup, but in our studio, for example, I already spent Pi last year to buy one of the mounts for our lights, and there have been, just in the Pi lifestyle community, even before we reached the mainnet, more than 2,500 transactions with Pi already. And since we are on the open mainnet, there are also every day more and more transaction. Pi is exactly worth as much as you value it. So if you want to buy something with it and somebody says I want to have 1,000 Pi for it, and you say no, it's not worth that much, then But if you want to buy something and somebody says that you can have it for one Pi and you think it's a steal, that's also cool. But so right now the value of Pi or varies from person to person. I tried opting out from the 100% lockup, but it declined. Once you save the lockup setting before the first migration, it's locked in and you cannot change it. After you get the first migration, you can then change it, and for future migrations it will be changed. Pi is a multi-level marketing. I'm sorry, but that's just garbage. Honestly, take a dictionary, look up what a multi-level marketing scheme is. And I also made a video that's called Who's Behind Pi Network, that's 45 minutes long, and it deals with all claims like that. Sorry, but you clearly don't know what an MLM is, and you clearly didn't do any homework about Pi Network, as proven by your next question. Why is Pi not listed on any exchange? Sorry, please do your homework. Watch some of my videos. Start with the one, Who's Behind Pi Network. It answers really a lot of questions, because you're wasting people's time and you're wasting your own time. So here, long message. Prue, not sure if everything is listed. Sir, watching from Uganda, I would like to know, when I signed up, it showed me only option to filling in username and original names, but it didn't provide me where I should upload. Your ID will then be asked for during the KYC verification. If you just signed up, you have to make sure you have 14 days. So when you sign up, you have 2 weeks to go into your profile and to make sure that your first name and last name, and if you have one, your middle name matches exactly the name how it's shown on your government ID. Yeah, so that it's not showing like your nickname that you used on Facebook or something, but that it actually shows your real name. Yeah, and blah blah blah. Did mess up something, like I don't know if, yeah, you can check in your Pi app. Just go to the menu, mainnet migration checklist. There you see which steps you still have to complete. Yeah, not gonna answer that. Vasim Yano, love back from Germany right now to the United Arab Emirates. Is there anything to do instead of KYC? No, like, I mean, you have the migration checklist, and in there you have all the steps that you have to complete. So confirming your wallet, making sure that your name is correct, obviously, then passing KYC, and then eventually last step, requesting the migration, which again requires you to confirm your wallet. Yeah. How much do I think Pi will trade at? I mean, we talked about that before. I don't do price speculations. I will accept whichever price the community actually finds a consensus on, and not by screaming, oh, my consensus or their consensus is 300,000, but I mean the real consensus based on actual transactions. Yeah. If I didn't comment or if I didn't reply to your comment on your video, then YouTube isn't showing your comment to me. Then just leave another or ask your question here if it's about Pi Network. If it's not about Pi Network, just, I don't know, or also join our Discord community and just ask your question there in the right channel. The link for the Discord community is anyway pinned in the messages here. What do we have here? Hello from Vietnam. So said that a lot of pioneers here are selling Pi for fiat at the rate of $40 per Pi. Well, those that do it, they just risk to get their accounts locked, and the people that are buying are also risking to lose all their Pi, because right now in the enclosed mainnet we are not allowed to sell or exchange Pi for fiat or other cryptocurrencies. And in the end, if people are giving it away for 40 cents per Pi, yeah, maybe they're right and making a profit. Maybe they will regret it in a couple of years, who knows. Anyway, right now it's not allowed. And if you know anybody that is actually selling Pi or buying Pi for fiat or for other cryptocurrencies, you can also happily basically report them. And yeah, like if the core team acts on it, they will get their accounts banned. They will not be able to mine any more Pi and so on. Yeah. Hi Alex, when are we starting to trade with Pi? Well, we already started, so gonna cover more of that later. Blah blah blah. But 0.01 Pi per transaction is too much in fees. Well, that depends how much you value Pi. If you think Pi is worth $300,000, then it's a lot. If you think Pi is worth $1, then it's not a lot. And then if you put it in perspective compared to how much you actually earn per day just by pushing a button, it also seems not a lot. But yeah. Greetings from Suriname. Greetings back from Germany. I'll have to look up where Suriname is on the Google Maps later. Yeah, I've heard it before. I'm just not sure where it is. Yeah. Start Pi Cafe in Malaysia. Is this news real or fake? I don't know that specific news, but there are stores in the Philippines, for example, and in some other Asian countries that accept Pi. However, there are also some that do it with exceptions. So like, for example, there are some stores where you can pay with Pi, but you can only pay some percentage with Pi. So let's say, I think there is one store that sells, for example, dishes and cutlery, and you can pay, I don't know, I don't remember, but let's say 20% with Pi and 80% in cash. Now, some people might be upset about it. I actually think it's great because it reduces the risks for the company that's accepting Pi, while at the same time already giving Pi a use case and allowing pioneers to use their Pi. So yes, there are already some places and some communities where you can use Pi, and there have been already a lot of transactions, but there are also some people that spread videos and pictures and so on of transactions that actually didn't happen. And I'm sure there are also places out there, like I heard that in Vietnam there is a car dealership that claims to accept Pi, but then they only accept it as a down payment, but you still have to pay a lot of cash and so on. So just like with everything else, there will be legit stuff, there will be semi-legit stuff, so where it's like, okay, it's okay, but it's not 100% accepting Pi, and then there will be like fake stuff, right? That the whole transaction is fake to just hype up a ridiculous value, or where a store claims to accept Pi just to get the free marketing in quotes, and in the end they then don't accept Pi or with ridiculous restrictions. I mean, that's stuff we can have to go through. Victor Arinsne, I cannot pronounce that, I'm sorry, but happy to have you here as well. Nice V is asking, can we create multiple accounts with same IP address? No, each human being is only allowed to have one account. Now, if you have family members and they live in the same house and use the same IP address, they can all use and have their own account. That's not a problem, but every person has to pass their own KYC verification. So yeah, one person, one account, like Irina already answered as well. I was a validator, suddenly pop-up applied to be a validator. Yeah, that's a bug, like it happens. So it also can happen that if, for example, you decline or accept a lot of validations or KYC verifications, and the other verifiers make the opposite decision, so that you very often pick the opposite decision from the consensus, then your verification rating drops, and then it's possible that you are no longer allowed to perform verifications. Already answered that. I'm not making price speculation, which means already answered that. Are there any listing plans? There cannot be any listing plans during the enclosed mainnet. For that, we first have to reach the open mainnet. We talked about that also early in the live, so I'm not gonna go through that again. I even migrated since still not received my coin. Yeah, it can take time. I mean, it's like for you, it's now 6 weeks. For the first people that migrated, it took like 2 days. For me, it already took, I don't know, a week or two. So there is right now hundreds of thousands of pioneers that are in the migration queue. So it just can take time. If you just to make sure, open the Pi app, go to menu, mainnet, migration checklist. If there everything is checked, then your Pi coins will arrive in the wallet that you defined in the migration checklist in the request migration step in the next couple of weeks. So Osama Hussein, welcome. Yeah, I'm quite fine, to be honest. A little bit busy with a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, that also means a lot of progress, so that's cool. Hope you're fine as well. Hope this program also posted soon in YouTube. Not sure what you're referring to. Jan van Dijk is asking if I really believe in this project. It's a tricky question, because it is a real cryptocurrency, so we're already at the point where it is a real cryptocurrency. It still has its restrictions, so there is no way right now to exchange your Pi into other cryptocurrencies, but that doesn't take the fact that it is a real cryptocurrency. So it's running on a blockchain, which is a version of the Stellar blockchain or a fork of the Stellar blockchain. And therefore, we already have like the first thing that makes it interesting or more legit or more promising than many other things out there, because it is a real cryptocurrency and users already have access to their balance. And on top of that, we are right now with the enclosed mainnet in the phase where basically we will get to see the first use cases. So this is kind of like right now and the next couple of months, maybe even the next year, is the make it or break it phase of the project. I have a hard time judging how likely I think that the project will survive the enclosed mainnet, because as a content creator on YouTube and so on, I obviously see a lot of people that also just constantly leave comments and ask, where can I sell? How can I sell? I want to sell, and so on, which makes it appear as if there would be a lot of people that just want to get rid of their Pi, which then would mean that the project doesn't have a bright future. But then I also have to consider that there are 30 million users out there, and only a fraction of them actually is active in the comment section of my videos. So there's only it's hard to judge how big a portion of users is looking to dump their coins versus how big a portion of users is actually in it for the long run. So For now, I'm honestly impressed with what the core team accomplished. Yes, they have room to do better in terms of communications. The app could look better even after years. It's not optimized for like screens like on the iPhone X and so on, with like like where the screen is full size and rounded and so on. So there's definitely room to do better and room to grow. But I think right now is also the most interesting time because, as I said, it's not like, will we get to use PiCoin or not? But we are already at a point where we actually can use it. Obviously, now it's challenging. We're going to cover that towards the end in a few minutes. We're actually already in overtime. I didn't notice that. So I'm going to quickly rush through the rest of the comments and see if there's anything important to answer. And other than that, we'll finish this by showing you two places. Okay, Irina just shared that there are a lot of questions. I might not be able to answer all of them. Sorry, guys, but as said, those streams are limited time only. But I will show you two places where you might be able to already use your Pi for transactions, or if you believe in Pi and you want to get offer your product or services, or even used goods. So if you have like old DVDs or computer games or something you want to sell, so you can sell it to get more Pi yourself. But yeah, I'm going to try to catch up with the chat. Can Indian users do KYC? Don't know, since I'm not from India. Ask in the Pi chat on the Pi network subreddit. The duration of enclosed mainnet, we covered that. KYC stuck, probably a bug. Try completely restarting your phone. Like some of those are, so some of the transactions that you see shared on social media are real, some of them are not. It's hard to say which is which. Now I finally get to the chat message from Mr. Flow again. Thank you for sharing this neat trick, and thanks for supporting the stream. And yeah, we should do a joint one, although that's technically a little bit challenging with audio and stuff, but yeah, definitely. And Hussein, please don't spam the same question 5 times, so I will just mute you for the rest of the stream because it's harder for me to catch up with the rest. Do you have information about pending KYC? Nope. So that would be this one. You just have to wait and check your migration checklist from time to time to see if you moved on, or your profile to see if you're verified there. Will not work by open mainnet since exchanges will... it doesn't matter what an exchange thinks the price is, because even if they say the price is 1 cent per Pi, if then the first pioneers only list their Pi for $100 per Pi, and other pioneers are willing to buy for that, then you have the starting price that the exchange set for exactly 1 nanosecond, and after that you have the real price. So that's how it works. Philippines has the highest barter peer-to-peer transactions. Definitely, there's a lot of Pi transactions going on the Philippines. Here, Israel M confirms Israelis have, Nigerians do have KYC already, so that's good to hear. So which means for other people in Nigeria, it should also move faster now. Will we staking for Pi at some point? Honestly, don't know. Would be nice, but not. Blah, blah, blah. Right now, Pi is only... that's a random value that's not accurate, has no source, so there's no place and no reason to believe Pi is only or as high as 13 cents. Any value that you find online right now that tells you Pi is worth that much is just a random number and has zero meaning. Right now, Pi is exactly worth as much as you and a counterparty agree on. So if you're buying something with Pi, you decide how many Pi you're willing to give for an item. If you're selling something for Pi, you decide how many Pi the buyer has to pay. So there's right now no fixed value. Anybody that tells you anything else is just lying to you. Validator from Oman, so also moving on there. No, Pi is not transferable to other crypto wallets right now because right now we're on the closed mainnet. Go back in the stream, we already covered what that means and so on. Total supply, no, I think supply is a number, like it's like market capitalization with a stock. While, for example, Amazon might become the first $1 trillion company in the world, but if every Amazon shareholder would want to sell their Amazon shares right now, so let's say they are 1 trillion worth altogether, if everyone sells at the same time, the first person would get the current price, and after that the price would start to plummet, and the last person that sells would get $0 or only a couple dollars for their shares. So like market capitalization is a fancy number because you can never realize that entire amount, and the supply is relevant, but it also depends how much of it is actually circulating. That's the important number in my opinion. No, you're not allowed to exchange Pi for money or other cryptocurrencies. If you do so and you get reported or caught, your Pi will be confiscated, your accounts will be frozen, and you will no longer be able to get any more Pi. Already answered. Yes, KYZ, Chainmall, is there verified or validated to know if the seller is legitimate? I guess there will be some phase, so I'm not sure if Chainmall will have some escrow service in between, so where you have some third party in between to pay the money to and then only release it once you receive the item or service. But I would assume that's part of like the journey to take some risk along the way. That was in regards to this message, by the way. Are they going to add a shopping platform in the Pi browser? That's what, for example, the Pi Chainmall is going to be. Price questions, I'm going to ignore them. Please, how long name changes? The name changes are processed when you submit your KYZ application. So every pioneer, when they sign up, have 14 days to make sure the name is right. And then there were also a time frame where you could submit additional name change requests, and that request will be reviewed while you submit your KYZ verification. And only when your KYZ verification is being processed will also the name change be processed, so to save resources. No, Pi network and the Tesla Pi smartphone are totally different things. Is Pi really the ever first mobile cryptocurrency? Do you really like to bloat that they are the first? Hard to say. There is a project that launched sooner. For example, it's called Midcoin, but Midcoin is no real cryptocurrency, even though they claimed they were the first and are a mobile cryptocurrency, but back then they weren't, and they only recently announced. So it's hard to say, but they were definitely among the first projects from all the projects that I've reviewed. There might be some projects that I haven't heard of that maybe even started earlier and failed, but if we consider in terms of popularity and age, it's definitely among the first. Not sure if it is the first though. Will Pi be different than other crypto? What is special about it? Can you analyze it? Okay, that's a question that's going to be a little bit hard to answer right now in the stream because it's going to take longer and we're already in overtime. But what makes it different? Very simple. On one hand, it's just like every other cryptocurrency, of course. But on the other hand, a major difference is you don't need to have a computer to mine it or so on. If you want to mine it. It's distributed to people right now simply by having an app on their phone, which obviously a lot of cryptocurrencies talk about that they will be the solution for all the millions of unbanked users out there, so people without bank account. But I think what the real difference is or will or could be is what we see now in the enclosed mainnet with more and more apps hopefully showing up other than the Pi Chainmall and so on that allow people to use Pi but also to get Pi in exchange for goods and services that they can offer and to actually be a currency that's used in daily life. Like for example, on the Philippines, there are some smaller grocery stores and so on where you can either, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to say you can pay parts of your grocery purchase with Pi and some of it still has to be in Filipino pesos, but it's also, it could be, I'm not 100% sure, I said, that there are also some there where you can pay your whole grocery purchase already with Pi. So unlike other cryptocurrencies that are usually just a huge speculation to make you rich, Pi actually in some locations already works as like an everyday currency that you use to pay for your daily goods. So already answered the smartphone thing, stay together, win together, blah, blah, blah. Guys, if you have other questions, stop by on the weekends gaming stream. It's not on weekends, it's actually in 2 days. Hi Fuad, Ahmed. It's on Thursday, same time as today, but there I will not be able to answer super detailed question because it's more about me relaxing and gaming and connecting a little bit and small talk and so on. So before we go, I'm gonna answer one last thing here. Mining without mining is not possible. Pi is a scam. I'm sorry to say this. You are an uneducated potato. Do your research, and you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't believe in Pi, then I'm always surprised how much time people like you spend commenting on my videos or joining live streams and so on. Go get a life. And with that, before we end things, I'm actually going to quickly push a button here. I'm going to try to push a button. I said it's not so easy. Screen sharing, there we go. So as mentioned, there are a few places where Pi has been used in the past and where you can use it theoretically right now. One of them is the Pi Lifestyle community. I have to admit, I'm not sure if they already adapted to the new SDK or if they currently still paused, but this has or is a community where even before the mainnet there were already more than 2,000 transactions with Pi. You can just enter it in Google, their Pi Lifestyle, and you will find their website. And then from there, the right thing to do is basically to scroll down, join their Discord community. While you're at it, you can also join our Discord community. And then in the Discord community, they have an FAQ channel in most languages that explains exactly how it works. So you don't have to ask questions on YouTube and so on. Just go there, Google for Pi Lifestyle, join the Discord, read the FAQ, and you will figure out when and how you are able to use your Pi coins with them. They also have a mobile app and so on, but as said, everything is explained in the Discord FAQ. And the second place right now is on Reddit, and it's a subreddit there called Local Pi. So if you go on reddit.com and Local Pi, and there are also rules. Although, as the title suggests, it's Local Pi, so this is not a community where you could order something from another country, but this is a community where you can basically buy goods or sell goods or services in your area. So, and if we check real quick, I'm not logged in here, so that might be the reason why I don't see that many pictures. So there we have a Pi World Cafe opening on the 7th of August in wherever that is. Yeah, so hard to read from me from here because the screen is a little bit further away. We have people asking if they're selling stuff, people looking for stuff in Texas. We have here somebody in the US selling this futon for 100 Pi or best offer. We have somebody selling this electric trimmer for 150 Pi. That's an auction that's already going on, so it started at 9,000 Pi coins, and every day it gets reduced by 100 Pi for this 1 ounce APM Max silver bullion. And right now the price is, I don't know, like already 6,000 or something. Would have to sort here by new. Obviously, since most people only have a couple hundred Pi available, right now the price is 5,800, so tomorrow it would be 5,700 and so on, until a buyer actually agrees to the price. And yeah, so here in that community you will basically find a lot of different things, like here Nintendo Switch games and so on, but they might not be in your area. But it's also a great place to basically sell things that you want to sell to accumulate more Pi, or with some luck find something that's in your area that you can pay for with Pi. Although it's also worth pointing out, if we go back here, it's obviously also worth pointing out that you might not always agree with the value that people are asking there. So you might think that that silver bullion should be worth only 0.01 Pi. Well, then you are, in quotes, shit out of luck because the seller simply wants more for it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. I know I wasn't able to answer all of them. Sorry for that, but as I said, limited time for these streams. We're already like 20 minutes over time, so completely missed the 30 minutes deadline. If you're looking to accumulate more Pi or to use your Pi already, check out the Pi Lifestyle community, check out the Local Pi subreddit on reddit.com, and on August 25th, check out the Pi Chain Mall app then in the Pi browser. If you have more questions, I invite you to use the link in the pinned chat message to join our Discord community, or join the Pi Lifestyle Discord and ask them there. There are also a lot of pioneers that are able to answer them for you. And with that, I think we're gonna call it a day. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully see you next time. Before I forget, check the community tab of the YouTube channel, because there you will learn how you can vote on which project we should talk about next week in the stream. So if you, for example, want to talk about, high dollar, Bondex and so on, so in the community tab there is already or will be a post within the next couple of hours that explains how you guys can vote what we talk about next. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, everyone, and see you in one of my other videos or live streams. Yeah, till then, bye-bye. Now just have to find the button to end this. So frustrating that my Stream Deck died, but yeah, what can you do?